Good morning, everyone. This is Michael Wulf, and we are here with my personal trainer, Lucy. What's up, Lucy?
Hello. Good morning.
Anyway, we thought, I'm rarely on camera. I hate being on camera, but today is kind of a special day. I'm, 45 days in and lost 30 pounds. We're going to talk a little bit about weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the first thing we wanted to chat about?
Yep.
And so we had a conversation about how, it's exciting and everything and enjoying your success and everything, but weight loss, that's kind of one of my main objectives, is to kind of get down by a certain level of weight by a certain period of time. And I've enjoyed the success of weight loss. But tell me a little bit about, what's important. Like, you talked a little bit about, you could do the rapid weight loss, you could do the slow, gradual weight loss, and there's like percentages that you should safely lose weight. So if you could briefly share about that.
Yeah, so, well, one thing as far as weight loss goes, I like to always think about how long was it that we put the weight on in respect to us taking it off. So, granted, you didn't gain weight in 30 days, it might not be respectful to your body and it might not feel the best to take it off in 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, from a trainer's perspective, fast diets, fads, shakes, supplements, that kind of stuff, I try to stay away from that also to promote a longevity. So if these are things we want to lose weight at a rate that's going to allow you to keep it off, but also adopt the behaviors and the lifestyle that comes with it, and that has to take time. So for most people, I would say looking at 2 pounds a week, or just saying 1% of your body weight.
Okay.
And that's a healthy, progressive rate of weight loss. So and lots of times we talk about plateaus, but I think it's also important to recognize that a true plateau might not happen for a couple of weeks. Or kind of what you experienced, where you kind of kept going. For some people, seeing 4 days of no progress, that might be enough to say, okay, you know what, I'm done, this isn't working, I'm done with that shake, or I'm done with this meal plan, and completely start over.
Yeah.
And on to the next thing.
Well, I kid you not, that's why I said I've probably done this about 50, 100 times, easily, just looking back. So yeah, you get to those, even if you're strong enough mentally to look at 2 weeks, and then you still don't see anything.
Yep.
But you haven't changed necessarily the true macronutrients.
Well, and then we're also talking about that set point, right? So if thinking about a thermostat, our body wants to be at this comfortable place. We're bringing it below that place. There's a point where our body's going to be like, okay, you know what? Let's just stay right here. We're not going to go any further. But the more you keep at it, the more you trust that process, then all of a sudden things flip for you, and kind of like what you experienced, you were able to hit underneath that new low, and you kind of keep taking that down, but that has to come with time.
Yep, over time.
Yep.
All right, so I realized too that that's going to be it's kind of like a curve that kind of smooths out over time, and so it's going to be hard, not harder in a bad way, but you have to be more diligent. You have to dedicate yourself to the process more diligently over time, because that 1 day break, then the 2 day plateau, then the weeks, then it could be 2 weeks before I see a pound or a true pound, right?
And then it's important for me to be able to look at what are you doing in that time. So what your health and nutrition, your movement looks like, all of those things are completely different 5 weeks ago than they are now. So that rate of loss is almost we can keep layering on.
Right. One thing kind of impromptu here is, we talked about stress a little bit just a minute ago before we started the camera. It dawned on me that, a lot of big eaters, like I was, big and bad eaters. Hey, I'm big and bad. But you start to stress eat. If something bothers you, you'll run through the drive-thru, you'll throw that Snicker bar in your mouth, or, whatever, you'll eat the whole pie instead of eating a slice of pie. So, but the reverse has kind of happened to me, where I found that not eating enough is bad. You want to balance that out real briefly? How to stay focused in on eating the right things and being prepared for that, because I kind of quit eating. I forgot to eat one day. And it wasn't like stress where I'm ready to go jump off a bridge stress. It was like the grind of bills and just doing paperwork and, share a bit about under eating stress and making sure.
Well, stress is one of the main, stress and diet are right next to each other as far as what you have to consider. And when you look at, okay, so again, someone who does like this quick fix, like big workout plan, high diet plan, those are all stresses. Dieting is a stress to your body. Exercise is a stress to your body. What we want to do is apply it as necessary in the right amount so that we can then overcome that stress and become stronger, leaner, more muscular, you know, whatever that may be. As far as undereating goes, if our body is like a machine, if we train it, if we all of a sudden take in less calories, then all of a sudden we're almost telling our bodies, okay, whoa. Let's down-regulate, let's stop, let's not keep doing the processes that we need, like building muscle, burning fat, you know, those kinds of things, because we don't know when calories are coming back. Now, granted, that happens over a long period of time, so you're not eating over a long period of time, but I think then it's also important to think about the psychology of you went from, you know, possibly not having to think at all about what you're eating day to day to now you're very conscious of what you're eating, the caloric makeup of it, the macronutrient makeup of it, when you're eating it. That's a huge switch.
Yeah.
So when you're stressed out, now your brain is almost doing something for you, whereas it's like, you know, well, we're definitely not going to think about food either. And I think that's, again, a part of the process, and being able to know that you're not swinging too hard in either extreme.
Yeah, no, and you know, you said a lot of things there, and I know that for me personally, I remember the first day, the first week that I came in, and you know, we talked a couple of times, but this whole concept of like macronutrients, you use that term, and I just want to make sure that people that don't know about those things, it's actually very basic. You know, you just have to look at, you know, the most important type of food. You need to look at the proteins and make sure that you're getting more than 1 or 2 grams of proteins. You want to get like 8 grams or whatever servings, but there's a balance between the proteins, the carbohydrates, and the fats. And the fats are the right thing, but if you don't know about them and you're worried about all the mini micros and all that, just focus in on the types of foods and making sure you're getting a balance, almost like a, you know, 3 pies slices, you know, an equal balance. And if you just do that and watch what you eat, whether you, and I'm going to just say it, whether you go to, if you're in the habit of going to McDonald's, or if you're in the habit of going to, you know, eating bad foods, at least if you eat one bad meal, you know, eat a can of tuna and light water or something like that to get more proteins into your body. And then, you know, so I just want to advise people that, hey, you can get started without having a personal trainer and all that, but it really boils down to what you put in your body.
For sure, and understanding, taking the time to learn that, because it's applied knowledge is the most powerful knowledge. So like, it's great for me to know about my proteins and fats and carbs, or know that I possibly shouldn't go through the drive-through. But until I'm able to really apply that as necessary, and when you're talking about macronutrients, so like you're understanding what that means for you today, that is going to completely change 6 months from now, a year from now. You know, like our bodies, and so during that process, like you have to have that relationship with your body to kind of like input output and be able to also correlate. That's what you're doing. That's what you've been doing the last 5 weeks, is you've been able to input, output, correlate. How does this affect my sleep? How is this affecting the way I move the next day, the way I feel, my inflammation, digestion, and all of those things you don't get to find out unless you're putting in the time and the work.
Yep. I call it, you know, grinding. Everybody has different words. You know, clinically, grit, you know, perseverance in the pursuit of long-term goals is kind of the one thing I studied in school, but it really is different when it applies directly to you, when you actually have to do it. And so it's definitely not easy, but you know, somehow we get through it. And then we had a third topic too that we wanted to chat about, and of course I forgot.
Holidays.
That's right.
Holidays.
I think I have that mental block. I don't want to think about holidays. So you know, I've lost this weight now, middle of October here. I guess it's 16th, 17th or so of October. And I already know, you know, 30, 45 days from now is going to be that sweet potato pie. So my wife makes incredible sweet potato pie.
Really?
I had an aunt who had the high water bar, you know, it's a high water bar. Now, my aunt was very creative and quick about it. So she made like a pan sweet potato pie and made nice crust. But I didn't realize that. And then everybody was on this Patti LaBelle thing. I was like, Patti LaBelle, sweet potato pie. Patti, no disrespect. But it wasn't my auntie Aunt Diane's pie. So my wife has actually created it, and I had a sorority sister, shout out to her. But how do you get through like these Thanksgiving, you know, personal holiday type feasts, right? So I think that, you know, food, as we've shared, has always been my Friday and Saturday night thing, the social outings, like even going to hang out with the fellas and the happy hours and all that kind of stuff. You know, making those choices and changing the food intake.
Yep.
So do you have any advice on surviving the holidays?
Well, okay, and so a couple of things. I have been that person at plenty of holiday meals eating from a Tupperware. And like,
oh, really?
Yeah. So in my competing history, like, I would find myself going to holidays and already be in like an anxious kind of a like whirlwind of like what was gonna happen, what I needed to do to stay away from it, what my family members were gonna say to me about why I wasn't eating it, because that's a huge thing. Is whenever you're changing,
dressing, you gotta eat
when
that.
you change something, like your family members, the people close to you, are the first people to be like, "Why are you doing that?" And possibly, even if it's something great, they might criticize it, and it might sit different with you. So I've been that person. The second thing about holidays and social eating and like the way our culture kind of changes during that time is it's really deep to have that experience and sit down at the table with your family and enjoy a meal. So you don't want to feel like you're taking away from that. But the biggest thing I say as far as like holidays and social eating is to not feel like you're going into it and you're not able to have something. So whether that's going into it with the mindset of knowing like, okay, so I need to hit these benchmarkers, whether it's getting enough protein, getting enough fiber, like, you know what I mean, kind of setting yourself up, giving yourself a framework, and then you can enjoy around that. Or maybe it's like bringing new dishes to your family events and like, you know, taking like a stuffing or a dressing recipe and flipping that and making it healthy, or a dessert, a sweet potato pie. And making a healthy version. So sometimes you can suggest things to your family and kind of change what they're looking for too. One other big thing about holiday eating is sometimes we tend to like eat really fast or eat throughout the whole day. So
the grazers or the slammers or whatever,
So when I say setting yourself up, like giving yourself those benchmarks of saying these are the foods that I'm going to eat. Outside of that, I can enjoy things, but I'm also going to make sure that I go walk after my meal, and I give myself that time to digest my food. Or I'm going to do like a quick 10-minute something before my meal if I know I'm going to sit down and eat a lot. Also, when we sit down and eat, we have to remember it takes about 20 minutes to digest our food. So like if we sit down and eat this whole plate and go right away to get some more
layers of
exactly. So it's also like timing yourself. A big thing that I would say for holidays is making sure you get enough protein, getting enough fiber, because sometimes the green things are the things that are missing from these huge parties. And then really just being able to be with yourself in that time and not make it an anxious experience, not make it something that you're not looking forward to, because there will be another Thanksgiving, there will be another Christmas, there will be another holiday get together with your work. So it's just a matter of knowing how to navigate those things and feeling empowered about what you say yes and no to, and what you can say yes and no to.
Fantastic. That's great advice. Well, Lucy, thank you. Although it's going to be a hard workout, I'm sure, ahead of time, but we took this video before. I worked out. Every other video, I was sweating like a dog. So I don't want people to think I'm not out here sweating and working. I'm just on the camera, but
we're putting in work now.
You ever see? I don't even want to be on video. I still have yet to take before pictures. So I'm just letting the pictures speak for themselves. Nobody needs to see my body. Maybe for you personally, a person probably wants to take those pictures, but for me, I just want to know myself that I'm achieving this. And I know I'll kick myself and say, man, I wish you could have seen me like that. But you can imagine.
But you're also taking all the other markers too. So, I mean, it allows you, I think by not focusing and taking pictures every week, it also allows you to focus on some of the other things that matter. Like stress, where your stress is at, where your sleep is at, where you're,
That's true. Yeah, we pull enough.
We can only
stressors.
focus on
Yeah,
so much.
I don't need to see
We
pictures
can
of
only
myself.
focus on so much.
Right,
There's a lot of things to worry about in this journey.
I'd rather watch somebody else doing push-ups in competition and running on the treadmill. That gives me motivation, positive motivation. So anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next time, maybe in a few weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the funny thing is I'm probably
My
going
phone
to...
dropped it.
I know.